Before we move on, just wanted to mention that one of our drivers could really use some support. They were affected by the tornadoes this week, so you got a QR code on screen, and if you're available to donate, please do, as they could really use the help. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the GFi Racing podcast. This is episode 2, and we've got our first guest of the show on this one. It is Keith Marston. He is our... how would you describe yourself, Keith? Martinson. Oh, have I been reading that wrong all this time?
Yeah, probably. That's right.
Dang.
Well, I am an admin for GFI. I also run race control for the Cup Series specifically and wherever else I'm needed.
That's why I wanted to bring you in for this one, because our races this week so far have been pretty heavy on race control and incident count.
Yeah.
So I guess first let's just jump into the Cup race and talk about that. It was at Martinsville this week. I wanted to see a better product, and it didn't turn out as good as I thought. How would you describe it, Keith?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a little bit less organized than I would want. It was a lot of people dive bombing, going into the corners, and not being able to hold the line because they were going too darn fast. Trying to get into holes that weren't there, and just simply not respecting the track.
I completely agree. I made a couple mistakes, but I was trying my best, and ultimately I just wish it was a better result. I think it was a 110 lap race, and
100 lap race.
100 lap race. Oh, okay. I don't even want to talk about how many cautions we had, but we did have 4 lead changes that counted, which was pretty interesting.
Yeah. I mean, up front, the racing was pretty decent. I mean, they were going a little bit back and forth. Martinsville, it's tough to pass anyway, especially in iRacing, because it doesn't really have a established second groove like it does in real life Cup.
Right. That's one thing I noticed become a bit of a problem was people couldn't identify the low line from kind of the middle high line there, and that's where people would run into each other a lot.
Yeah, I mean, this league is really interesting in that we have a very wide variety of skill levels, all the way down from, rookies to Class A's, and they're all mixed together. So things are going to happen naturally.
Yeah, that can make for some tough situations. Now, I guess let's go ahead and get into some of the race stats. We'll start with qualifying here. Our pole winner was Dylan Hartman in the number 90 for GFi Racing. Did a great job. I think he led all the laps of this race, so really good performance there. And then P2 was Kyle Purcell in the number 16. Also a good performance up front all day. I'll give it to Keith for the race results.
Yeah, Hartman won. He did lead almost every lap. I think the only ones he didn't lead was when he was in the pits. Because I think the 47 Dominic led like 2.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just from what I remember. Because, yeah, he was absolutely dominant. And there was nobody that could actually do anything with him. So,
yeah.
And I have to say that some of our newer additions, the Purcell brothers, they're quick.
Yeah.
They seem to always be up front, no matter what series it is and what race it is.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how they're doing that, especially with Sean Purcell coming through in P2, the number 74. Did a great job, and I'm actually really proud of his finish because I did spin him on lap 1 accidentally. I think there was a situation up high, and I was down low, and the cars just got together. And he ended up finishing P2, so I'm glad he was able to come back from that.
Yeah, that's it. Yep. So, yeah, I guess we did end up going 109 laps. Because I believe we had green-white checkers.
Yeah, those last laps were interesting, a little frustrating for me. And then P3,
oh yeah, I understand.
P3, we've got Ralph Gilbert, the number 26 for Ajax. That was also a really good performance. I think he started a little bit further back and worked his way up. Did a good job.
Yeah, he was one of the few people that could actually get through traffic without too much difficulty.
Yeah, I wonder how he did that. I was trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I wish I knew, because, yeah. I'm almost afraid to pass in Martinsville just cause.
Yeah, I kind of came to the point where I just stopped trying to pass and just wanted to drive and control and just stay with no incidents. Ultimately, didn't work out, but I'll give it to you for the most improved position.
Yeah, let's see. Oh, Christopher Green, Ajax. I'm telling you, Ajax is going to be a force this year.
Yeah,
He moved up 19 positions, started 28th, finished ninth. That's amazing.
yeah, I don't even know how he did that. That's a pretty impeccable job.
Some of it was due to incidents because we had quite a few DNFs.
Indeed. And that brings us to another low point, the biggest fall of the race. That was Dominic Frappier in the number 47. He started P3, started really well, and he dropped to 27th place. That's a drop of 24 positions. I'm sure he was looking for a better
Yeah,
result.
yeah, he got incident disqualified, unfortunately.
Oh, that's way too bad.
Yeah, because he's quick. I mean, I got to give it to him. When he's out on the course, he's quick. There's no doubt. He's
Indeed.
faster than me, that's for sure.
Indeed. He's qualified ahead of me a couple times, and I've been like, whoa. And then we'll jump over to the team points now, and the leader of the team points. And I'll mention there was no change in the top three for this week. It was Ajax One Racing in the top with 439 points. They got one top five this race and one car in the top 10, giving them two top 10s with that guy in P5. And then in second is Tag E Racing. They've got 341 points right behind. And then in third is Velocity at 320. So that's the same as it was last week. Pretty good job for all those teams. Nobody lost, nobody gained. So I guess they're in a good spot.
They are. I mean, Ajax has a pretty good lead over Tag for sure.
Yeah, yeah, it's going
Uh,
to take a minute to catch up to that.
yeah, it will. But I mean, this is a long season, so we have a long way to go.
The big mover in team points is We Racing. They're up one in the P4 position. They have 299 points, so a lot of catching up to do if they want to get to the P3, but not impossible. And then a big drop is Lugnut Lunatics. They are down to into P6 now with 246 points. That's going to set them back quite a little bit.
There are no Lugnut Lunatics drivers left. I
Oh,
think they're all gone.
okay, so we'll continue to see that team drop throughout the weeks. Interesting.
Yes, yeah, they're gonna drop all the way down to wherever.
All right, well, I'll talk about someone else next week then. That'll move us into driver points, and the leader for driver points is Mitchell Sunstorm. No change from last week, doing really well. And then in second is Kyle Purcell, the number 16. Also no change for him. That brings us to third, Davis Brown, who is up one, working his way into the top three of driver points. He is in the number 6 for Ajax Racing.
Yeah, like I said, Ajax, they are definitely making a run. The nice thing is that he doesn't have a win yet, but he's got, three top tens and he's got a lot of points. So that'll definitely help when the playoffs come into play.
Yeah, everybody in this team just continues to do a great job as I've been keeping
Yeah.
up with the stats. I mean, Ajax is in the lead for Cup and Xfinity, which we'll get on to right after this. They're just doing a great job, and I'm still trying to figure out how they're getting through so cleanly because we just keep running into issues on our team.
Yeah, so I mean the nice thing about the points is that Dylan Hartman, he may be seventh in the points, but he's got two wins. So he's pretty much a lock for the playoffs.
That's right.
Because our playoffs are going to run exactly like NASCAR does.
Right.
The top 16. Um, if there's more than 16 winners, then yeah, the top 16 in points plus wins. So we have 7 races, 6 different winners. Dylan Hartman's the only one with the multiple wins. Kyle Purcell, Christopher Green, Grant McDonald, Sean Purcell, and Zachary Tyler all have 1 win. So they're looking good.
Yeah, that's quite a few lock-ins.
Yeah,
If
for sure.
if we keep having surprise winners, well, not surprise winners, but first-time winners every week going on, then the top 16 is going to fill up pretty quick with locked-in spots.
Yeah, I mean, we got 26 regular season races, so there's plenty of opportunity for somebody to pull off an upset.
That'll pretty much wrap up the Cup race. We can move on into the Xfinity race, which was at Daytona this week, week 3, I believe. And that was a pretty fun race. Minimal cautions, not too many. Not too many issues. A few wild things I saw go on. I remember I was in the back, quite far away from the pack, driving into turn one. I saw a car go into the grass and then right up into the field. That was interesting. I had a great view of that.
Yeah, that set some tempers off. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, not mine because I wasn't even a part of it. I had 200 feet to slow down for that, so that was great for me at
Yeah,
least. Too bad for everybody else though.
you
That
know,
hurts.
our Xfinity series has been incredibly clean.
It has, and that's
They,
a highlight.
they, yeah, Daytona was a little messier than I was expecting. I know that drafting tracks can cause some issues, but
Yeah,
the that last lap was really incredible.
yeah. It was something. I actually have a video of that. You'll be having it on your screen now. You got your race winner out of this wreck, as well as I think everybody in the top five came through because of this wreck. Even Cliff got a really good finish. I believe P4 drove right through that thing, just real smart. I was behind him trying
Yeah,
to follow along. Got back on track too early, and a car got me. I was looking at a P5, but didn't go that way. That's too bad, though. Is what it is.
yeah, stuff happens.
Indeed, yeah, and I don't know. I'm just struggling with where I've been putting my car recently, trying to make smarter decisions overall for myself and others. It's been a struggle for me.
Well, yeah, it's sometimes your luck just isn't with you.
Indeed. All right, I guess we can move on into the qualifying for this race. Our pole winner was Mitchell Sunstorm in the number 22 for Ajax 1 Racing. Really good time there. Qualifying is tough at these super speedways. Times are so close, so to get pole is pretty impressive. And then in P2, we've got Nathan Schrader in the number 5 for Misfit. Also a really good lap.
Yeah, the qualifying laps are very impressive actually.
Yeah, it's a lot of
They
fun
were
to see
quicker than
how
I thought.
close everyone is when that board finally comes up.
I was actually doing race control for this, so I was watching the whole thing, and I expected the 74 Sean Purcell to pull this off. He was in position down the backstretch, then the big one hit,
Yeah.
and as a result, uh, Jordan Barnes, the 66, was able to weave his way through that absolute carnage to win the race while starting in P29.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, that was incredible. I didn't think, honestly, I didn't think anybody was going to make it through that, but he did.
Yeah, talk about a surprise winner.
Yes, I think he was just as surprised as anybody else.
For sure. And P2 was Nicholas Warboy in the number 88. That's a car and person that's been performing very well in the front recently, and just hasn't got that win. Hasn't been able to close it and finish it off. But I'm sure we'll be talking about him really soon, getting that win. And then in P3 we've got Andrew B. Jones in the number 93, and you can continue to talk about him for the most improved position, Keith.
Yeah, he started darn near dead last, 32nd, and finished third. So he actually improved by one more position than Barnes did. He moved up 29.
That's right. Yeah, they were really close, and he beat him by one in terms of jumping positions. That's incredible. Lucky.
Yeah, I mean, it takes finesse to be able to weave your way through a drafting track. You have to know where the holes are, get into them, and just sort of, you know, kind of weave through like a snake.
Right. And then the biggest fall of this race was Nathan Schrader in the number 5 for Misfit. He started P2 really well,
Yeah,
and he finished 30th, down 28. That's too
yeah,
bad. Not the day he wanted.
he got caught up in some messes, so that kind of ruined his race.
Yeah.
His car was all messed up.
Hate it for a car that
So
qualifies that well.
yeah, and he's a good driver. I mean, he wins races. He won a few last season. Um, so I expect him to bounce back from this,
Yeah, I think we all
especially.
do. That'll bring us into the team points. The team points leader. Like I said, this is the same exact top three you have in Cup right now. It's Ajax 1 Racing in the lead, 199 points. And they got one top five this race and two top tens. And then in second is Tag E Racing with 171 points, just a little behind, a little catching up to do. And then in third is Velocity at 149. And that's pretty impressive that we have the same top three across Cup and Xfinity. Those are teams that are just coming out and performing and dominating the top three. It'll be interesting to see who moves through that in the future.
Yeah, when you have good drivers on your team, they're going to do well no matter what car they're in. I can't wait to see what they do this week in ARCA.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that'll be interesting as well, as that's a season that just got going, too.
Yep.
And then the big mover in the teams this week was We Racing. They're up 2 positions into P5 with 124 points. I believe that had a lot to do with Cliff. He got a really good finish for that team.
Yeah, he got some good points for finishing fourth.
Indeed.
So that helped a lot.
And the biggest drop was Triple Bulb Inc. They are down to P6 in the standings, 116 points. Really close to We Racing. Possibly could jump that position soon.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. The biggest reason for the drop there and for Misfit Racing is that they don't have as many races that counted. I think they missed the first race of the season, so they're behind the 8 ball already.
Well, hopefully they could get a win and help with some of that game of catch-up.
Exactly. I mean, wins definitely help that.
And in the driver points, the leader is Ralph Gilbert in the number 26 for Ajax. That's no change from last week. He has 104 points. He got a top 10 in this race. Good job, Ralph. And then in second, we've got Michael L. Nelson in the number 15 for Tag E Racing, up 1 position from last week with 82 points now. And then in third, we've got Kyle Purcell in the number 16, up 4 positions with 82 points, just same as Michael. And he got a top 10 in this race. So really close to taking that spot from Michael. Good job out of both those drivers.
Yeah, this is actually a 3-way tie for second.
Oh, wow. That's pretty interesting. That'll be something to talk about next week, see how that mixes up.
Yeah, Michael Sundstrom, because of his good finish, he moved up 10 spots to the tie for second.
Jeez, that's a big jump.
He finished 5th and had a bonus point on top of it.
Oh, wow.
Laps.
Right in that spot I wanted to be. Good for him.
Yeah, so he had 33 total points, which, early in the season, good points finishes, the standings will jump all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and really, honestly, the great thing about this league is that if somebody asks for help, we give it to them.
Yeah, and I really enjoy that.
Yeah, we compete, but we also want good racing. So if I can help somebody get better, I'll help them get better. Somebody can help me get better, I will do that too.
Well, that'll wrap up this portion of the podcast. We're doing this in the middle of the week. We've still got GT3 and ARCA to run. ARCA's at Texas. I'm really looking forward to that, considering how I did last week in Xfinity there. So hope that's going to be a good race. We've had minimal cautions in ARCA. Hope it stays that way this week. And looking forward to it. How about you, Keith?
ARCA is a fun car to drive.
It really is. It's probably jumped up to my top 2 favorite. P1's the truck. I love that truck.
The truck, I think, is the easiest to drive out of all the NASCAR cars that are out there. I think it's even easier to drive than ARCA because it's just so stable.
It is, yeah. Well, thank you for being here, Keith, and thank you for your time.
Yeah. I am happy to be here. You can always catch me at Race Control black flagging somebody.
We know who it'll be in Nashville.
Yeah.
Now we can jump into the GT3 race. This should be pretty quick because there were only 5 cars for this race. This race was at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. It was a 35-minute race. And so Tyler Carson qualified on pole again this week. And he also won the race again this week. Really good job from him. He said last week that he had never run here before, so I wonder what he did to put it all together. Either way, really good finish from him and wonderful job there. And then his brother, Cody Carson, finished second, qualified third. And then Clifton Chanel finished third, qualified fourth. Anthony Alex finished fourth, qualified second. And then Grant McDonald finished fifth, qualified fifth. And that was pretty much it for this race. It was a dominating performance from Tyler again this week. I wonder if we'll see the same thing next week. Cody finally found his way to finish in second spot this week. Last week he fell down a little bit due to some issues. So let's see how this keeps going in the series, and let's go ahead and jump on into the points. So for team points this week, Ascend Motorsports has jumped up 2 spots to take the lead in the team points. Really good job from them. We Racing has jumped down 1 spot into number 2. And then in number 3, up 2 spots, is Velocity Motorsports. And then for the driver standings, we've got Tyler Carson in the lead. Clifton Chanel jumping up a spot, second behind. And then in third, we've got Cody Carson jumping up 2 spots. Anthony Alex jumped up 4 spots. And then Andy Innes, -3, getting out of the top 3 there. And now we can go ahead and move on to our ARCA race. So our ARCA race was at Texas Motor Speedway this week. It was a 60-lap race. There were 7 cautions during this race and 8 lead changes. Qualifying was pretty interesting. We had Lucas Chapman qualifying on pole in the number 17. Really good job. And then in P2, Nicholas Warboy in the number 88 for Misfit. Really good job there too. Nicholas Warboy has been doing pretty good, putting his car up front in the beginning of these races, but running into trouble later, which we'll talk about in a minute. And the race results for this one was Lucas Chapman, the number 17, came through and won it. He's qualified on pole, and he came through in the end to finish it off just how he wanted. And Kyle Purcell could not get it done. He finished P2 in the number 16. He wanted to win. He was getting close there at the end. This race had a caution at the end, finished under a green-white checkered. And that is how Kyle fell back that 1 spot to just not get this one this week, or he would have been, I believe, 3 for 3 on these ARCA races. And then in P3, we've got James Smith in the number 46 for the race results in the front. And then the most improved position of this race was Brian Troy in the number 4 for Tag E Racing. He started P22 and he finished P4, making up 18 spots. A really good performance there. He did this through just getting through some of these cautions and surviving really at the end of the day. And the biggest fall for this one was somebody that couldn't survive, and that was myself, Nick Norris, in the number 35 for Tag E Racing. Started P3, thought it was going to be a good day again, and finished P20, falling 17 spots. Not what I wanted. Gonna try better next week. And then right above me was Nicholas Warboy. He fell 16 spots, so we were right there, kind of falling the same amount, started in some really good positions for the race, and then just not being there in the end, running into some trouble. But overall, it was a pretty fun race, just filled with some cautions. But it was good. You know, I think Texas is a good track. Feelings are pretty mixed about this track. A lot of people do not like it. I enjoy the drive of it. I enjoy the tire wear, figuring it out, and just figuring out how to survive to the end and win it is a good challenge, and that's what I enjoy. I enjoy a challenge. I think most people, that's why they race. They enjoy the challenge of racing. And that'll bring us on into the team points for this race. All right, so I do not believe I covered the points for this last week. I apologize about that, but it changed up this week quite a bit, pretty interesting. So in terms of the team standings, Misfit Racing has taken the top spot. They've got 168 total points. They've got 2 top 5s and 3 top 10s. That has gotten them to that point. Tag E Racing is -1 into the second position for team standings with 165 points, 3 top 5s, 3 top 10s. We Racing is up 1 into the third spot with 146 points and 3 top 10s to get themselves there. Below them is Dirty Air Motorsports, also up 1. Up 1 again is LA Motorsports. And then down 3, a big fall, Ajax 1 Racing, 103 total points now. They've got 2 top 10s to get them there. That is too bad. They're doing pretty good in some of the other series that were running, just falling in this one. That is too bad. We'll see how they continue to do in the coming weeks. And now we can move on into our driver standings. And in the number 1 spot is Kyle Purcell with 120 total points. He's got 2 wins, 3 top 5s, and 3 top 10s. Really good job here in this ARCA series, coming out and performing. He took away our first race and our second race. He was about to take this one, but just came up a little bit short in the end. And right below him is the winner of this race, who we'll talk to in a second, Lucas Chapman. He is up 6 spots in the standings to put himself in position number 2 with 92 points, 1 win, 1 top 5, 1 top 10. Really good job, Lucas. And then right below him in spot number 3 is Nathan Strader with the 85 total points, 1 top 5, 2 top 10s. Some big movement in the standings. Up 9 spots, David E. Hunt into that 10th position. He's got 59 points. And then down 9 spots is Preston O'Brien. I don't believe he showed this week for this race, so a big drop of points there. And then dropping 9 as well was Brad Keaton, falling to position 23. And that'll wrap it up for the points. We're going to end this podcast off talking to the winner. Okay, we're now here with the winner of the ARCA race, Lucas Chapman. This was the race at Texas. It was a 60-lap race with 7 cautions and 8 lead changes. How'd you finally get it done, Lucas?
I just kept the car clean, stayed out of trouble, and thankfully had tires at the end. I was able to get it done on the last lap.
And Kyle Purcell was right behind you. He's 2 for 2 on ARCA wins, and you took that from him. He was about to get it, and then there was a caution right at the end of the race.
Yeah, and I was actually 2 seconds away from going a lap down whenever that happened because I had to do a pass-through penalty, the caution before. So, yeah, I was lucky for the caution there. It definitely changed our day.
How did you finally come out and pass Purcell?
It was definitely the 4 tires. He had a little bit of damage, and he was on old tires. I felt like me and him were the fastest cars on the track. I qualified on the pole, and I just had a little bit. I got in some issues early in the race, and but was able to get back to the front at the end of the race and pass him on the last lap.
Do you have a pretty good track record at Texas, or is this kind of a surprise how well you did here this round? Or
no, I was definitely looking at Texas on the schedule as a race that I wanted to be up front all day. I've won some races at Texas in the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series, so I knew I was going to be competitive.
And just some closeout questions here. What is one thing you think other drivers could learn from you?
I mean, I'm still learning this whole thing. I've only been iRacing for about a year and a half, 2 years, but I think that I've learned to be a lot more patient and save tires early in a run and wait to be super aggressive towards the end of the race and just keep your car clean and save your stuff until it's time to go try to win the race.
And last question here. What are some tracks we can focus on you at and assume that you will do well at?
I haven't. I've heard that the ARCA car is really fun and has a lot of grip on short tracks. I think I want to perform well at Bristol, and some of my favorite tracks are Kansas and Charlotte, so I'm looking to be up front there as well.
All right, well, we hope to talk to you after those. Thank you so much for your time, and good luck in the rest of the season.
Yeah, appreciate it.
All right, that's been it for this episode of the podcast. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Make sure to catch us on Monday for the Darlington race in the Cup Series. You can catch that at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on the GFi Racing League YouTube channel. And you can catch the podcast next week. Thank y'all so much. See ya.